Welcome to this explainer. We're looking at the brain's hidden multiplier, decoding neural loss aversion. Today, we're diving straight into the hidden forces that actually drive your decisions. We're going to track this invisible multiplier from the deep neural circuitry inside your head, all the way to the modern AI algorithms that are currently mapping our behavior. Trust me, by the time we're done here, you're going to look at every single choice you make totally differently.
So, what if a 10,000 rupee loss hurts twice as much as a gain? Let's try a quick thought experiment. I want you to really imagine the sharp, heavy, lingering sting of losing 10 grand. Maybe it fell right out of your pocket, or you made a bad trade. Really feel how frustrating that is. Now compare that to the fleeting, kind of mild joy of finding that exact same amount on the street. Notice how that negative feeling is just heavier? It sticks with you? Well, that's not just you being pessimistic. That is a fundamental feature of your biology.
2 times. That's the magic number. Decades of behavioral economics, completely backed up by a massive 2024 to 2025 meta-analysis, confirm this stunning reality. The pain of a loss feels roughly twice as bad as the pleasure of an equivalent gain. Think about that for a second. The scales in your mind are permanently tipped. It literally takes double the good just to offset the bad.
And what's really wild is the absolute precision we have on this today. The number is exactly 1.8 to 2.1. Researchers estimate the loss aversion coefficient sits precisely in that range. So this proves we aren't just talking about a psychological quirk or some kind of personality flaw, right? We're looking at a hardwired mathematical reality of exactly how we as humans evaluate risk and reward every single day. This brings us to the neural loss asymmetry, a brain divided. To really see this invisible multiplier in action, we kind of have to shrink down and look microscopically inside the brain. And what we find there is this continuous, high-stakes sparring match happening between two totally distinct, highly active neural networks.
On one side, you got your threat system, which is your amygdala and anterior insula. These guys flare up like a high-decibel alarm system at potential threats, detecting risk and encoding that sinking gut feeling of dread. Then, going up against them, you have your reward system, the ventral striatum and a ventral medial prefrontal cortex, or VMPFC. These areas encode potential gains and valuation. But here's the crazy part. Functional MRI studies consistently show that the threat system activates with roughly twice the intensity of the reward system. Your internal alarm bells are literally ringing twice as loud as your celebratory cheers.
Which gives us this clear biological definition for neural loss aversion, a pattern where specific brain regions respond more strongly to potential losses than to gains of the exact same magnitude. This biological reality forces your brain to treat the prospect of losing money or status or security as a vastly more urgent life-or-death event than gaining those exact same things.
But we also have to factor in surprise here, which is driven by dopamine prediction errors. This is the crucial gap between your expectation and reality. You see, this threat response is intensely amplified by dopamine acting as a teaching signal. When a loss is completely unexpected, the resulting negative prediction error causes your dopamine to just plunge. It actively trains your brain to fiercely avoid that pain in the future, hardwiring a really deep habit of caution.
Now, for the 6x dread multiplier, anticipating the future. This threat system isn't just reacting to what's happening right now in front of you. It is constantly projecting into the future. It's like a cinematic radar, constantly scanning the horizon and simulating the absolute worst-case scenarios before they even happen.
If we look at it like a movie, we can trace this exact future loss sequence firing off in your head. Step 1, your medial prefrontal cortex vividly visualizes the danger. It's basically writing the script for a horror movie. Step 2, the anterior cingulate cortex flags this as a major conflict. And finally, step 3, your insula pumps your body full of a crippling, physical sense of worry. It's a highly efficient closed-loop system designed specifically to stop you from taking risks.
And the magnitude of this simulation is just staggering. Because of this deep-seated alarm network, the dread of anticipating a future loss can actually feel 6 times stronger than the pleasure of anticipating a future gain. 6 times! While a realized loss hurts twice as much, the mere anticipation, the pure dread of what might happen, is amplified up to 6x.
So how does this actually play out in real life? Consider the Mumbai family dilemma. You have a family looking to save 8,000 rupees a year with a new digital insurance plan, but they're completely frozen. Why? Because the catastrophic simulation of a single rejected claim triggers that massive dread multiplier we just talked about.
That future fear completely paralyzes their ability to accept a guaranteed, rational gain of saving $8,000.
This dread multiplier shifts dynamically based on context and framing. It's a highly sensitive dial. During a sudden 15% market drop, which is framed as an equity loss, an investor's personal loss dial gets cranked up, causing them to freeze up and avoid optimally rebalancing their portfolio. Or think about an e-commerce checkout. Frame a small cost as a surcharge or a fee, and a customer abandons their cart in dread. But frame that exact same math as a discount or a gain somewhere else, and they complete the purchase. The brain reads fee as a threat. The insula lights up, and boom, the conversion is dead.
Now brace yourselves, because this next part is wild. Astonishingly, this behavioral quirk is so deeply embedded in our historical data and the language we use that AI systems, large language models, now inherit this exact same loss aversion. As researchers noted, LLMs display loss aversion behavior in simulated economic tasks, mirroring humans. When given economic gambles, these systems perfectly mirror our behavior, settling right into that 1.8 to 2.1 loss aversion coefficient. They literally don't even have brains, but they have learned our fear.
This leads to what we call automated caution. Let's say you have an AI e-commerce pricing bot. Without explicit debiasing, this intelligent system becomes overly cautious. It underutilizes small, profitable price increases simply to avoid a simulated loss of customers. It systematically rejects beneficial changes because its mathematical fear of loss is weighted way too heavily. Our machines have literally inherited our invisible multiplier.
But knowing this gives us tremendous power. Let's talk about concrete loss framing, hacking the system. Because we know that our brains, and now our algorithms, are governed by this multiplier, we can step in and consciously hack our own decision-making processes. To bypass this change avoidance, we use a psychological toolkit called concrete loss framing. First, you have to name the specific loss you are currently suffering by doing nothing. Second, make that loss vivid, concrete, and deeply personal. And third, pair that loss contrast directly with a clear, certain gain. For instance, going back to our Mumbai family saving 8,000 rupees. If you tell them you could save money, that's vague. It doesn't move the needle. But if you say, by not switching, you are losing 2 family dinners or your child's coaching fees for a month, now you're speaking the exact language of the insula. You're effectively taking your brain's own loss aversion and weaponizing it to motivate a highly beneficial change. You make the status quo feel like the real threat.
And this brilliantly illustrates our core takeaway for this explainer. Your brain is biased, your choices don't have to be. It is so absolutely crucial to realize that while loss aversion is a deeply built-in feature of your neural architecture, recognizing the code allows you to step back. You are not a slave to your amygdala. Once you see the asymmetry, you can pause, do the math, and rewrite the script.
So, I want to leave you with this question. The next time you find yourself hesitating to make a beneficial change, whether it's rebalancing a portfolio, switching careers, or launching a new product, stop and ask yourself, what exact loss are you afraid of, and is your brain secretly multiplying that fear by 6? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning those gut feelings, and I'll see you next time.